We really need to clip your nails. Hi. So, I did not get a very good night's sleep last night. Um, I think um, I think the story I had on was up too loud. And there was the other issue of I really wanted to listen to it. So, yeah, that's why I'm a little bit late this morning. Oh, shoot. I need to put on my glasses. I forgot. Okay. Okay, so I've got 43 followers. And the last two are Eddie Diaz 02, 3 days ago. And I think that's more. Leo underscore ALX 13 hours ago. So thank you. Oh no. Okay, so I didn't think of that. There's animals on here. I'm gonna have to go and build a bridge to dump them off at. Yep. Okay. Oh. So I was listening to my story, literally all night. And, I decided that instead of going to town on her horse, that Ashley would be going to town on her motorcycle that I hadn't invented yet. Sorry. Sorry, all of a sudden my nose was runny. I really don't like that. I I don't walk that fast in the first place. And it seems like the world goes out of focus a little bit while I'm walking. Okay. Um, so I'm pretty happy. One of the things I got to watch yesterday, trying to catch up on YouTube videos, was the movie The Mask of Zorro. But I was working on it while I was working on my story. So I didn't get to see one of my favorite parts. But I still have it on there because, I love watching those movies. So, um, yeah, so I was pretty happy. I got to working on page 196. And like I said, if I get to page 2, or when I get to page 200, not if, when I get to page 200, I think I'll be more, enthusiastic to really finish it. Not that I'm not right now, it's just that I still have not done the major rewrite where it's not the horse, it's the motorcycle. But um, the rest of the book I have set up as if it's the motorcycle. Look, there's an old established island already, but I don't think it's in the right spot. So I was gonna try to start painting houses yesterday. I just had a good feeling about painting houses yesterday, but ended up getting distracted by Dreamlight Valley. That I needed to find the blue chest and. Oh, and fair warning, tomorrow I will not be streaming until later in the day, probably, because um, my father-in-law's appointment is supposed to be at 9:10 tomorrow. So basically, I dropped my husband off at work, and basically I drop him off at work and then go and get my father-in-law. It's gonna be ridiculous. Which means that unless I get the best sleep ever tonight, I'm gonna be driving tired. But yeah, so I'm gonna have to go and pack up my, pack my finger braces and my glasses, my other glasses. Oh, till I realized that it was fish. I was like, what the heck? There. Now I don't have to worry about sheep spawning over there. I could come up with silly things, um, big sheep rescue or something like that for this one, um, but I actually um, I tried to stay as, um, I tried to stay as true to the thing as possible, and, um, it's fictional Ireland rebuild, and, this is, what, 249? Yeah, this is 249. Unless I messed up somewhere and just really got off um, on the numbers, this should be correct. Um, it's really funny because I've got like this deja vu feeling that I already did 250 and 260 and all that, and it's like I know I didn't, but I've got like a weird deja vu feeling that I already put that number in here. Okay, so so in my story, Sean and Ashley went out on a date, and Ashley's at least a little mad that every single girl there knows Sean's name. And he explains that that's because he dated them in junior high. So, usually when you go on a date, you give at least your first name. So, it just happens that they, work at the movie theater. And I think that part of it specifically comes from my husband knows a lot of women around here, and it's not because he's, not being true to me or anything. It's because when he's doing his work projects, that's who happens to be working at the um, in the section of the store that he's working in at the time. So, or at least that's how it used to work. I don't know if that's the same now, but it kind of bugged me. And me and my what if brain, like I come up with, all kinds of stuff from my books, and it's like, well, what if? And at one point in the storyline, Sean thinks that his wife is unalived, and his wife thinks that he's unalived. So, well, she's forced to work at a certain place, and we'll just say she's tending bar. Um, but anyway, that's not what she's doing, but we'll just say that because it's something I could say on here. Um, anyway, so she's doing a job, and then he's going out a whole bunch of dates with a whole bunch of girls, and then all of a sudden, somebody, I'm just going to say somebody because I haven't um, talked about him much, but somebody brings the wife back, you know. So, and she's alive, and they have twins, and it's like, what, you know, he actually, you know, um, pokes her with the with the finger, you're alive, and she doesn't hold it against him that he was going out on dates with other girls because, he did think that she was not alive anymore. I don't know why I just remembered that, but in this one, they go out to Sean's truck and find that the tires are slashed again. The windshield is smashed to heck, and there was a note taped to the passenger side door. I mean, passenger side windshield wiper, which didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I changed it to the driver's side door. Because, like, if you're going to leave a note for the driver of a vehicle, you're probably going to leave it on the driver's side to make sure that the driver sees it, you know? So I just thought that made sense. And so I'm like, I tried to explain it to my husband one way, and he's like, I don't know. Yeah, he's playing Xbox. Duh, he's not gonna know. But but then when he really, when I worded it a little bit different, he's like, oh, the driver's side door. And then I asked my sister, it, um, which side would you put it on? And she said the driver's side door, and I'm like, okay, that that makes me happy. Oh, and um, to go off the subject a little bit, my sister was telling me some information about our cat Bobby because we wouldn't have Bobby without my sister. Um, because Bobby was her cat first. I'm pretty sure that she was pretty mad about being passed like a hot potato again, but I don't understand that really. But um, being passed like a hot potato. There was a game called Hot Potato, and you got like a plastic potato or a beanbag potato, something like that. Um, I kind of wanted it, but when you don't have um, friends over at the house all the time, it's really hard to play a game that needs more than one person. Oh, anyway, so she gave me, so she was telling me about Bobby, and I'm like, send me that information. We'll make a story out of it, and I'll even put your name on it. Not just her name, my name too, but I'll put Tina Rash and Stephanie Smith, and then that way, she gets part of the credit too. I would be, I'd be willing to, send her some of the money too. We've got, I don't know, we got some app that I can't remember the name of right now where we could send money back and forth, but you have to have a certain amount. So anyway, I still gotta write. I've got it in my head that I need to write Ben's book first. We've already written Quarrels, but I've got to write Ben's book first. That's not what I meant. And then Sam's, which is going to be pretty hard if I can't go to that apartment complex and take generic pictures. I just need generically the spot where a generic picture of the stairs, and then a generic picture of the yard, if you can call it that. The yard where they would have been running across. So I thought it was weird. There was a cat named Sam that went missing, and our cat, I was just like, let's name him Sam. And we did. So I'm wondering if that's the same cat. And if, technically we owe this guy a cat because, we rescued Sam and he was not going outside. But we did, the best we could at the time. We can never have a working printer here, it seems like. I don't know if it's us or if it's just, we pick the one bad printer out of the mix, or, what the issue is, but we cannot have a printer. So we couldn't, take pictures and put them on a poster, found, black cat, and that is so weird. I'm so used to having my headset on that I couldn't tell if it was there or not. But yesterday I was wearing it too long, so if I wear headphones too long, they'll hurt my ears because they're squishing my head, kinda. And it's annoying. I can't do the earbuds. I can't. But, I can do the over the ear ones, or, the on the ear ones, whatever you call them. I can totally do those. So I do, and Yeah, it's like yesterday I wanted to do the house painting, try to get back on track with that. And I had the small problem of I didn't feel like going and getting the colors, didn't know what to do with, some of the stuff that I have right now. Um, I just didn't know. So, every once in a while I do a tour so you could see, yeah, the stuff is still there, or, well, I could see that the stuff is still there as well. Because I did have a problem. The whole reason why um, the whole reason why we're building this one is because I wanted the cliff. The other one did not have the cliff. But the whole reason why we had to build that one in the first place, April 2024, is that my world got corrupted somehow. And it was just like a, um, okay, I know it's a little juvenile, but it is the best. It is actually the best, example. It's like the cloud worm from the Care Bears just decided to eat grass instead and put some stuff back where it didn't belong. Like I had taken out large chunks, like what I'm doing right now. I had taken out large chunks and all of a sudden they were back again of land. And then I had, wow, that's a big hole. Anyway, and then, there was some other parts where I had built stuff and it was gone again. So I was like, okay, need to build it again. I cried because I was, it was at that stage where I was just trying to remember all the little buildings that we needed to put in there. And, so I thought I was done. And, I pretty much was. I was remembering, oh yeah, we need the bowling alley. And then, oh yeah, we need the tattoo parlor. And, I've got, it's either on my computer or my phone or both. I've got the thing where it's every single building that we need. I know it's on my computer, but I keep adding to it and adding to it and adding to it. Yeah, I figured out, we probably need a tattoo parlor because if Sean's gonna have his scar turned into a tattoo, so it looks nice, then you gotta have a tattoo parlor. And if, of course, later in the series, after Sean gets married, we have some interesting tattoos. And I got that idea from a movie called Down Periscope. That specific, tattoo. Um, I, I got the idea from Down Periscope. Um, he one of the characters um one of the characters has a tattoo in a very interesting spot. In case you haven't seen it. And so the other character doesn't like him because of that. You know, um, says he's got poor judgment if he's got that part of him tattooed. So, every morning. Anyway, but Sean's getting that part of him tattooed out of love. Um, and then it turns out that somebody, can't remember who, it's a female character, but that's all I can remember right now, said that it seems to be a rite of passage to be a crew member on their ship, you know. So, anyway. So I'm trying not to tell too much, but I'm trying not to tell too little. And, I'm trying to get you interested in my books so you want to read them. And, I hate to be that person that's like, hey, I need the money. Seriously. But, that's what it ends up being. And, like, I've noticed that people that are monetized, they get donations and all that stuff. And I would be okay with that if we could set that up, but I would rather you get a book for it. Even if you give the book away to somebody else entirely. You know, I keep saying specifically that the children's books would make wonderful Easter presents. Um, I know that's Sunday. It's gonna be Sunday. But they make wonderful Easter presents, and um, maybe your kid that's in junior or senior year of high school has that one teacher that is so tired of people doing book reports on Clifford the Big Red Dog or whatever they've been getting lately, and say you have to have a book that's 300 pages or better, or more. And my book specifically is 300 pages or longer just for that purpose. Now, I didn't mean to start out making them kind of romance novelish, where I mean, there's not like super details. There's just, we went over here and it um it's up to your imagination exactly what they did. I know what they did, but it's up to your imagination what they did. You know, because Sean takes Ashley out into the woods in Esperanza's party, and and you don't know what they did, but I with the way that I wrote it, I kind of dance around the idea of exactly what they did. So it could be read by a younger person. But it can also be read by that college student who maybe has a college teacher that, you know, um, that, is kind of tired of getting, those kind of book reports. I don't remember doing book reports in college, but maybe if we'd had a teacher that wasn't so rude, we would have. She literally, okay, so two of us had not been in school in like over 10 years. And she gets up in front of the class because the high school students who are trying to, get college credit at the same time, they were messing around. So she yells at the whole entire class, which I do not think is okay. She yelled at the whole entire class that if, she basically, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she basically said if we weren't so stupid that we wouldn't be in this class. And it's like, excuse you. Um, it's like, excuse you. A couple of us have not been in school in about 10 years. I think I had not been in school for like, okay, wait, that was 2009. Yeah, so like I hadn't been in school for like 10, 15 years, something like that. I remember thinking that it was 20 for some reason, but that doesn't make any sense. But anyway, I graduated in 1997, and this was almost 10 years later. So, or no, that would have been like 12 years later. Something like that. Not doing mental math right now. I'm not doing mental math very well right now. I mean, so anyway, and that other guy, I mean, the other student, it was a guy. But anyway, he hadn't been in there for 10 years. So, for some reason, I was thinking I had been out of school for so long that, I'd been out of school for, ever. But now that I'm doing the math, it's only like 12 years. So, yeah, it was both of us had not been in school for at least 10 years. And, like, the other guy, he had um, gone on like a world explorer or something like that. I was watching a video yesterday on YouTube, and I don't know how true it is, but because it's YouTube. Um, you know, I don't I'm I don't always believe the videos that I see on there, because some of them are just so uh um I don't know. They're like the same voice for all of the stories. Um, like there was one where the the girl happened to be going somewhere on an airplane. We have no idea where. She's only 13, so um, she's only 13, so definitely, shouldn't have been flying the plane, but she ends up rescuing the whole entire crew. And I just assume it's a story because, um, it's that same AI voice that's reading it. And if it's not an AI voice, then that person needs to get more interesting. But I know it's an AI voice. Um, the story was interesting, but it feels like a story. But it was telling about how Amelia Earhart and a whole bunch of other people just like up and disappeared. Um, there was a guy on he was an actor, and he had been hanging out with his friends, and then he was going to go home, and I want to say he lived with his parents at the time, but he never showed up. Because he'd like just gotten back into town. Um, but he never showed up. And then there was a famous basketball person or something like that, and they just disappeared. And then there's this other person. I can't remember what they, I can't remember what they did, but I really can't remember what they did. But I was thinking the way that they, told that part of the information that this guy probably had some gambling debts or something. Anyway, I was thinking that he probably um, made somebody mad, and like probably that you know he made somebody mad, and they uh unalived him. I watched the weirdest stuff. But, seriously, I was thinking that, and, all of these people are definitely, all of these people are definitely, definitely an unsolved mystery. And although one of them, it doesn't help find the person who did it if they haven't figured it out already. Um, but I was kind of thinking that it was, a serial unaliver, and I don't mean that they're unaliving the breakfast food cereal. I mean that, they do this quite often, like maybe every 5 years or something like that. Because there's this one girl that, this one lady that was working on the movie Scarface, and she was a pretty blonde, and in one of the pictures I'm like, oh no, because that's what it looked like. It She looked like that little girl JonBenet, but older. So I was thinking maybe there's somebody out there who's hopefully they're not alive now, old age or whatever. Um, but hopefully they're not alive now, but at the time they were, and they thought that, that lady and John Bonet looked enough alike that, next on the list kind of thing. And I'm like, if that helps, that would be awesome. It was weird because it looked like, John Bonet could have been their kid. I mean, this lady's kid. And I don't think she is because, John Bonet was, a little girl, and that lady was already unalived at the time. So I'm just gonna guess that, but she's one of the ones that disappeared. Um, anyway, I was watching all kinds of weird stuff yesterday. Like, theme parks that are abandoned. And, apparently, I don't know how that happened because um, okay, so like there was a bunch of theme parks that were abandoned, and then a video that I saw after that, or was it before that? Anyway, um, Chris from Park Pass had gone to Disney California Adventure. Seriously, I think if we go to Anaheim again, if we get to go to Anaheim again, we're going to Disneyland. Um, we kind of both want to go to Disney California Adventure too, just to check it out, see what's up. But I don't know if we're going to. I'm one of the ones that could spend like 4 days in Disneyland, no problems. So maybe it would be like we go on Monday and Tuesday. We go to California Adventure on Wednesday, and then to Disneyland Thursday, Friday. My husband keeps looking at it from a money point of view, going, I don't think we can do that. It's like, well, I wanna do it this way, so we're just gonna have to figure it out. Um, but apparently at one of the places he wanted to order the spicy popcorn chicken, but accidentally ordered the spicy chicken wings. So that meant that he had to go to a different, yeah, we'll call it a stall. And we had to go to a different stall to pick it up, and he said they were hot. The flavor hot, not that they were, like say 100 degrees or whatever. Oh, I made dinner last night. That's something interesting. I was trying to tell my son how to make it, and apparently he doesn't have, um, he doesn't have the want to learn how to cook. And apparently my brother or my sister-in-law have tried to teach him how to cook certain things. And I think what they need to do is start simpler. Teach them how to make scrambled eggs. Um, I don't know how, but my brother learned how to make scrambled eggs, and then he showed me how to do it, and I'm like, oh, that is so simple. So then, so then I wanted to learn how to make a few other things. I've always been able to make, the box mix brownies and well, mostly brownies, but if I've always said if it's in a box, I can probably cook it. Except for au gratin potatoes. I can cook them, and they taste good. I can't even remember what company makes them right now. I want to say Betty Crocker, but that doesn't sound right. Um, yeah, I don't know. But um, anyway, whoever the au gratin potatoes is, yeah, and I don't remember. It's driving me crazy now because I used to know. Actually, I think it's the Hamburger Helper people. Whoever makes Hamburger Helper. Um, yeah, I think it's whoever makes Hamburger Helper makes the au gratin potatoes. Anyway, they're really good. I don't necessarily like the ones at Costco because they're made with the white sauce, and I've always had au gratin potatoes with yellow sauce. I can't tell you what kind of cheese it's supposed to be, but I know what color it's supposed to be, and that's the way I like it. I don't necessarily like it the other way. And the Wandering Trader is stupid because he's out for a swim, and he's gonna be unalived at some point in time. Yeah, because you're stupid. Here. And then he goes, aw. That's kind of funny. Move. Oh, I'm so sorry. I actually did not mean to unalive him. I really didn't. I just, I was going to save his life. Seriously. I don't always like to unalive him. I got a question though. Okay, are we saying unalived because we need to, or are we saying unalived because we're bullied into saying it? I don't know. Cause I'm just saying, like on the Brave Little Tailor, he killed 7 flies in one blow, but he just kept saying that he killed 7 in one blow, and that could actually happen if he's talking giants in a specific situation. If they had the big mountain with a bunch of rocks on it, or with a ton of snow or something, technically he could have unalived 7 giants one blow. But he was talking about the flies. And he's like so happy that he did that. Apparently they didn't have anything better than fly swatter to get them with, so they were bugging the heck out of him. He was he's like, your shirt gets a hole in it, take it to him, he can fix it. And, or, your knees need patches because, you have, um, your knees need patches because, you fell and ripped your pants open, at the knee. Stuff like that. Um, but the king thought that he meant something else, and that he meant that he got 7 giants in one blow. Yeah. So anyway, well, I guess we'll keep going. If the wandering traitor comes back, we'll try to save him again. So anyway, like I said with my story, Sean and Ashley have gone on a date, and the thing is that they came back, and the tires are slashed, and um the windshield is shattered, and the windshield wiper on the driver's side has a note on it saying, um, something about "Don't steal my girl, Jesse." I can't remember the exact words right now. I wrote them down so I didn't have to remember. Um, I love that line. So, I wrote. I love that line. It's from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Sean Connery's character, Dr. Henry Jones Sr., says it. And, anyway, Dr. Henry Jones Sr. says it. And, he's talking about his big project. He's trying to find the, he's trying to find the room where the cup of Christ would be. And, um, I don't know if we actually know what it is supposed to look like or not, but, the one guy, when they do get into that room, the one guy's like gold because he's the son of God. They have the richest things. So he goes and tries that, and it's like, um, there's a knight from, like Knights of the Round Table, King Arthur and all that times. And he goes, he chose poorly. He says it a lot better than I do. And, you know, um, Indiana's, Indiana Jones's dad has been shot, so he needs something with water, to clean the wound. And Indiana's like, he was a carpenter. I think a carpenter would have this cup. And they get the water, and I think he drinks some, and then he goes and takes it out to his dad, and fills. I mean, he cleaned the wound with it, and I think they got the bullet out, and you know took care of it, but um, you know, they were made to take the bad guy in to that room. Anyway, when Indiana, grabbed the cup, it was, you chose wisely. So this poor guy, he's like so old that he can't lift his sword anymore. Um, I think he just got left in there. Or he finally went out into the real world. Thing is, though, I didn't see any food for him. So, I don't know. I don't think they thought of that. It wasn't important to the storyline that he didn't have food. It was just important to the storyline that he was going to live forever. But um, anyway, the thing was that um, they needed to go to Germany to get um Indiana Jones's dad's book back, so they could figure out what they needed to figure out. Because I think Elsa had it. Elsa's a bad guy minion. And, like all bad guy minions, she thinks that, um, excuse me, like all bad guy minions, she thinks that, the bad guys can protect her through everything. That was part of the thing, is that, she wanted to go and take the cup of Christ and make money off of it, um, have it in a museum or something like that and charge, tons of money. We've got the cup of Christ, but the cup could not go over this one part of the floor. They called it the seal, and the ground ended up opening up, and she ended up falling. So did the cup, though, so that's kind of good, because I don't know if it's the cup that was the important part, or if it was, like on Pirates of the Caribbean 3, 2 or 3. 3. Anyway, yeah, I want to say 3. Anyway, it's the one where Barbosa is working with the good guys, at least temporarily. So, oh yeah. That would have been number 4. Never mind. Um, because he wanted to unalive Blackbeard. Couldn't think of his name. Well, I could think of his original name, but then I couldn't think of his name. I mean, what everybody called him. Because his original name was Edward Teach. And apparently everybody called him Blackbeard. And I hope that means that he had a beard and it just happened to be black. But everybody's like, he had a black heart. And I think he did, I think he had that too, but, I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna have to do some laundry today, I think, because I don't think I have any clothes. Well, any pants. I've got tons of shirts, but I don't think I have pants. And I have to be able to take my father-in-law to his appointment tomorrow. And they better not say, April Fool! It's next week. Again. That is just... I thought that was just wrong last week when they did that to us. But tomorrow is... tomorrow is backgammon and Roblox Theme Park Tycoon 2. And I might do that today. I think I'm going to finish this chapter first because, like I said, I'm on 96. And if I can get 97, 98, and 99 done, then the next page is 200. And if I can get that done today, I will be happy. Yesterday, I couldn't really concentrate. I started, my husband was home for 1. But for 2, I don't know why. I just wasn't really concentrating. I think it was because I had the YouTube videos going. Yeah. I need to go through my YouTube videos and see, okay, this one can go back into the mix. Because I have TSMC builds, and some of the stuff I need, and then some of the stuff could go back into the, the daily mix so I could see it, but, help him get his valid public watch hours up, but, not use it. I want to add the ones into the mix that I actually want to use. Like modern houses or modern houses, airport. I think he's got an airport in his stuff. If he doesn't, I need to ask him to build one, but I think he does. There was a tennis court, I think, in the mix recently. or like a outdoor kind of fitness center or park or whatever, and it had tennis courts. Um, I always wanted to go in there and play tennis, but I wasn't very good at it. I didn't want to go professional or anything. But when I was a kid, I knew that mom liked to play tennis, so I wanted to learn how to play tennis. Mama, not mom. Sorry. I keep saying it wrong. Um, I knew that she liked to play tennis. Mom was not a sports person, so she's just not a sports person either. I'd like to get together, all of us, and, um, well, at least, uh, like my family, my sister, mom, and, some other family members, and see if we can, do um, was it Oprah that said that? I don't know. Somebody had a chub club on their thing, and the whole thing about it was trying to lose weight. But the problem is that some people gain weight because they're eating the wrong foods. Some people, it's, like genes. Other people in their family were overweight, and um, you know, uh, like you're overweight because of that. But I think you can overcome that kind of thing. I'm hoping. Because I don't know what made certain family members a little overweight. I just know that they were. So, I don't know. It seemed like they were eating good foods, but it seemed like Grandma and Mom and Aunt Mickey were eating good foods, but they were getting overweight. Although Aunt Aunt Mickey has been described as eating while she's cooking and then eating a full meal. You know. So that may be the reason why she is or was. But I don't know. I haven't seen her in about 4 years. Yeah, I haven't seen her in 4 years. A little over 4 years. 'Cause we saw her on Mama's birthday. In 22 because she passed away in 21. It just seemed like, okay, I know that nobody can live forever. But it just seemed like our family was getting hit and it and it and it and it. And, 'cause, Aunt Charlotte in 2020, um, and then Mom in 21, and Uncle Jerry, who I had just met, um, he passed away in December, and I had just met him in February for the very first time. He always lived in Arizona, and I don't know why we never went to go visit, but, um, yeah. That, so you know, I had just met him for the first time. And then I begged God, nobody in 2023, please. So then, you know, it was literally um, Aunt Robin in December of, January of 2024, and my Uncle David. Oh, that's who it was. Yeah, my Uncle David in 2024, and then my grandpa on mom's side of the family. Her dad, of course, and my uncle Billy Jack all in 2024. It was wow, So, yeah, I don't mean to keep bringing up depressing stuff like that. It's just stuff I think about when I'm doing this. Um, oh, well, I keep trying to tell you about the part in the story that I'm at. They called the tow truck. John showed up. John's a tow truck driver. And I don't know. I haven't developed that enough, um, but Sean's got a friend that runs a tow truck company with his dad. So, I don't know if John is the dad or if this is a rival tow company or what. I just haven't developed it enough um, to get that figured out. But, it's not important to the storyline. It's just important that the one friend owns a tow company with his dad, and they were able to bring the truck home in that scene. But in this scene specifically, um, John shows up, and if that's Sean's friend and they own the tow truck company, why wouldn't they call him? Or are they calling him? And I'm just, you know, I don't know. I don't know. I put stuff into my story and then I'm like, is it this way or is it this way? Or like, I will go, wait a minute. In the dream I had, that was on the right and that was on the left. You know? And I'll be like, why did I write it this way? And I will have no idea why I wrote it that way. Anyway, it drives me crazy. Um, so yeah, it seems like I'm gonna have a busy day today because I've got to, I won't be able to take my shower before I go pick him up. So I'll have to go and do that today too. Um, Unless I wake up hecka early. But I didn't have very good sleep last night. I just, it's like I was too tired to work on my story, but like my brain was in story mode. I'll put it that way. My brain was in story mode, but my body was too tired to work on it. So, yeah. like I wanted to be awake at 2 o'clock in the morning, working on my story, and I couldn't. So I finally fell asleep after I think I woke up at 5 or something like that and needed to go upstairs. So I went and took care of that and came back and fell asleep again. Woke up at 8 o'clock. So if I don't take a nap today, I will be very surprised. I don't usually take naps. That's the thing. I don't usually take naps unless I'm exhausted. So I don't know. Anyway, so they're gonna find out that the guy that did it, Brian, um, it realizes that he got the wrong truck and realizes that he got the wrong truck and sent um yeah, John has 4 tires on his truck and Brian paid for them. Hi. Hi, my love. Every once in a while, Ben hangs out with me, and if I don't pay attention to him, he meows at me. He's such a sweetie. I'm sorry, my right arm can reach him better than my left arm. And of course, my right arm's the one that no, my left hand is the one that is pushing it forward, but my right hand's holding the stick thing down. I mean, the right trigger down so I can get the stuff taken out. So I'm like really looking forward to going to Grandma's birthday party, and I'm kind of freaking out because he hasn't said that we've got the money yet to be able to go down there. We just need we got the room at the hotel, and we've got we've got the room at the hotel, and they better not say, oh no, this was booked for Monday again, because I will be so pissed. I will find a way to sue them. Because I saw it said the 18th. Anyway, we'll figure out something. So anyway, but like we need food while we're down there. Um, food while we're down there, preferably. Um, my husband does not want to buy Jelly Bellies, but I do. I hear that the Jelly Belly factory isn't doing so good in Fairfield, and um, I don't know why. Hey, if people would start buying my books, we could save Jelly Belly. Because I would be able to, I would probably get the big cases of Jelly Bellies, and, like, um, you buy a book, and I can tell if somebody bought a book or not. But you buy a book, and, you get a thing of Jelly Bellies sent to your house, too. Only problem is that I know that some people don't like certain flavors, or they might want to have a gummy spider or a gummy scorpion, something like that instead. I don't even know if they do those anymore, but I love Jelly Bellies actually, and they're my favorite kind of jelly bean. I don't like the ones that come out at Easter time. They don't taste like anything. I like the Jelly Bellies. Um, I would be willing, if Jelly Belly would be willing to do it, I would be willing to, make a collaboration commercial. That means getting both of us together. I'd be willing to do a collaboration commercial where there, um, a collaboration commercial where I'm reading, where I'm making it look like I'm reading one of my books, and eating jelly belly beans at the same time. You know, and if I could like get paid to do that, and they pay for the TV spot, then that would be really cool. Um, I don't know where I was staying, but we were staying in a hotel or a motel one time in Fairfield, California, and it was they had the Where is Fairfield channel, but it went all the way out to Napa, and I think all the way out to Sacramento or something like that. And it's like Napa is not Fairfield, people. I think it was mostly Napa though. But they were like showing, the Jelly Belly factory, and a bunch of different places around Fairfield. Although they didn't bother to show the places that I thought were the most interesting. Um, if it's still there, and I don't think it is, but if it's still there, they have the Anheuser-Busch factory. So beer drinkers will be happy about that. It says Budweiser on the outside now because that's um, their main thing that they're making. Um, so they have that. They have a place called Scandia, which is, you go there and you can ride Indy cars or you can play arcade games. And I don't mean the ones on Xbox or a PlayStation or Switch or, whatever you've got. I mean, like an actual arcade game. You have to put quarters in it to play. And they had the most excellent play place. You know how you go to McDonald's and they sometimes have a play place. Well, this blows that one out of the water. Um, it's 3 stories and it is huge. I love it. And it doesn't hurt your knees in most places. That was something I did like about Chuck E. Cheese in Fairfield, is that um they had those things for your knees so they didn't get hurt while you're crawling around. Um you're supposed to be a kid to do that, but I really thought it was cool because the play place at Scandia, you pay for your kid to get in, and each kid that you take in. So, like, if you have 5 kids, you gotta pay $5 for each kid. That's $25. Or that was at that time. Don't quote me on the prices now. Um, but you got in there, and the grown-ups. Say you had 20 grown-ups for the 5 kids. Wait, does that make any sense? Anyway, all the grown-ups got in for free. And they were allowed to go and crawl around and everything. It was cool. I loved it. So like me and my mom would go in there and me and my mama would go in there with our daughter Ashley, and I was usually the one uh trying to keep track of her and play together. It was fun. I mean, I'm not the physical type where I want to go and crawl in things like that and do that, but it did have slides and slides and climby things and all sorts of neat things. So, so the next chapter, I still haven't gotten to listen to it, but the next chapter, they're gonna, the next chapter, Jesse's gonna pass a note to Noah to pass to Brian. And pass a note to Noah to pass to Brian. And Noah does not want to get in trouble, because if he gets in trouble, he can't go out on his date later. And if he can't go on his date later, his girlfriend's going to be mad. She's not going to just be mad. She's going to be mad. So nobody gets caught. I almost wanted them to get caught, and then I was like, nah. So anyway, nobody gets caught, but the note is passed. So so Brian writes a note back, and says that he's meeting some old, new old friends. Some weird combination of that sentence. Um, he went to school with them before, and they're all friends with him. So it's kind of like his gang against Jesse and his gang. He's got all of the boys that are, not Jonah, because Jonah's too old to be going to high school, but, he's got Sean, Jesse, maybe Nate. Um, Nate's Brittany's boyfriend, but, maybe Nate. Um, Craig, Tristan, a whole bunch of people. But just the ones that go to high school. So it's kind of like they're squared off, the one gang against the other gang, and then Morgan comes up and kind of screws it up, screws up the fact that they don't need to fight, and I mean, she makes it to where they don't need to fight anymore because she's scared off Brian's friends, or Brian and Brian's friends, something like that. And Jesse's like, no, thank you. I didn't want to have to, um, I didn't really want to have to fight him because, like, we're skilled and they're not. And, no, it was something specific. My girlfriend doesn't like me to bleed unless she's to blame. Something like that. Anyway, and I don't remember if Chantel had to go with her or not, but Morgan ends up going to her. Yeah, she's having a parent-teacher conference thing because, not the normal ones that you do like once a quarter or whatever it is. But Chantel's been measuring out 16 Jessies instead of 16 pounds in her math class, and she's been writing more adult material than she should be in a high school English class. She writes romance novels, but that's not the point here. So the idea here is to take out as much land as we can and get the sheep to go over to that bridge and go up. But so far that's not working. I haven't had breakfast yet either. I'm hungry. So, maybe I should have breakfast, and then after breakfast, we'll set it up for the YouTube viewers, what I'm supposed to stream, what I'm supposed to stream for tomorrow, because it's probably not getting streamed. I think I'm going to be so frustrated tomorrow. I was totally frustrated last week. I was mad because, I am totally fine taking him to his doctor's appointment, but, when you go and get there and, oh, we talked to somebody, and the only person that could have been the only person that could have been home to get that message was my mother-in-law. So, like, unless I talked to the dog, excuse me, unless I talked to Brady, the dog has a name. His name's Brady. Um, I was thinking Brady Bunch. They were thinking, that Brady football person, because I can't think of his name right now. The only Brady that's coming to mind is Wayne Brady. That's not who we're talking about either. Um, yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about, but I said something about, you know, doing stuff that's not our stuff, or, I think it was you can do stuff that's not your stuff. And I totally expected my sister to remember that, and she didn't, because she's never met Zac Efron a day in her life, and she wishes she could, kind of thing. But she's uh she's like her celebrity crush. That's her celebrity crush, and so she keeps saying, "That's my husband." She's married, but it's like, that's my husband. So so I hope I'm not embarrassing her by saying that. But anyway, um if Zac Efron ever watches this, or I assume he has people, um she would really love to meet you. I would really love to meet you too, but her even more. My sister even more. Um, because I'm kind of, I'm kind of afraid that, if I meet a celebrity, they're not going to be as nice and charming as they are in their movie, and then I'm not going to want to watch it. I'm not going to want to talk to them, and so I'm afraid of that. I don't know if he'd be like that or not. He seemed like a nice person when he was watching his brother on Dancing with the Stars. And it's really cute. They've got a little sister. She's like 5 to 7 years old. I can't remember how old, but he had her on his lap, and it was nice. I loved it. He went to go see his brother. Um, can't think of his brother's name unless it's Matt, and I don't think it is, but it might be. I don't know. Um, can't think of. I'm so sorry, I can't remember your name unless it's Matt. I should ask Google or look it up on my phone or something. What are you doing? Down, down, down. You could go in the middle. Ben, make a decision, up or down. Up or down. Do I have to put this footrest down? Thank you. I raised them like my kids. He was going to go over there and lay in the top spot on the cat tree, and um unfortunately Bobby has claimed that as her own, even though she's got her own cat tree. Ben, if you want to try again, she moved. Anyway, we kind of raise them as our kids instead of just our pets or our cats or whatever. So, I go and tell him, make a decision, up or down. And he'll usually get down. That was loud. And it was only in my left ear. That was weird. It's only in my left ear. Anyway, so like I said, the next chapter, I think the next chapter specifically is that part where they're squaring off between, Jesse's group and Brian's group. And, and that part reminded me of, like a gang fight. How there's the leader and his group, and then there of the one gang, and then there's the leader and his group of the other gang, and they square off and they have this big fight, and then everything's okay for a while, and then they do it over again. At least I think that's how it goes. One of these days, I have to get this all down to bedrock, or at least down to a spot where I can build the ship and feel like it can go through the water. It's not going to happen anytime soon, but I think I'm going to go back to painting houses next time I come on here. I'm going to try anyway, because what I got to do is I got to I've got to set it up to where I can do this, I need to get the houses all painted, and I've got to get the buildings built. And the problem is, though, that I've got all those, all those streets going wherever the streets are going. So the buildings aren't fitting in the same amount of space that they were before. But I think there's a lot more houses involved, so it may not be an issue. We'll find out whether it's going to be an issue or not. I'm sure one of those blocks is going to end up being the 2 schools. I don't know why, but I wanted the junior high to be on the main road. And I don't know how I'm going to do that. I mean, I did that before, and I keep building it relatively the same, but I don't know if I even have an idea of what it looks like now. I think now it's got, like a big ol' gym with like a ceiling light and all that, and it's got some kind of big building thing where the grass is supposed to be. And that to me doesn't make sense, but I don't know what it's for. So, like, we could go down the, except for, I was going to say we could check it out while we're down there, but it's only going to be Sunday. It's not going to be Monday. And we can't stay until Monday. He has work. So, yeah. It's like, I don't want to stop Ben from getting up there. But then on the other hand, that's a place where Bobby feels safe. So, I don't know what I want to do. And I am really, really afraid for what's going to happen while we're gone. I'm really worried about that. Because there's going to be nobody to stop the boys from being overly. There's going to be nobody stopping her from scratching people. I mean, I'm probably worrying for nothing. But this is the first time that we've gone anywhere overnight. So, I'm worried. But yeah, you'll probably hear me talking about that in the next few weeks. I definitely will not be streaming on the 18th unless we leave really late or I wake up really early. But we will not be. I will not be streaming on the 18th, and I won't be streaming until on the 19th. And would you just settle down, please? And move that? Thank you. I don't know why, but my, the top part of my leg is very sensitive, so when they step on that part, it hurts, and I don't know why. It doesn't major hurt. It just hurts like like you had a clumsy moment and crashed into the wall, and it hurts for a little bit, and then it's okay. It's that kind of hurt, but it's not good. Anyway, so yeah, I haven't gotten to listen or read past that part, and I got a little upset because I was trying to get my program to read the story to me, and it just decided all of a sudden on a certain page, I'm not playing anymore. And I'm like, what the heck? So I hit the refresh button. It wanted me to make a copy of it onto the phone, and I'm like, I finally did that. I didn't want to necessarily have it on the phone like that, but I finally did that, and then I couldn't find the page that I was looking for, and then I'm like, comic, because I describe, uh, I take movies that I love and put them as movies that are getting shown in the theater. So it could be Fast and the Furious or Gone in 60 Seconds or Cool World or Grease or um, the pirate movie. I think I have the pirate movie in there. Yeah, I do because it was something about um it's a pirate movie and that's uh or or was it the pirate movie and anyway and something about and that's the name of the movie. Um so it could be any movie. Or like when she's talking about the two chick flicks that she got for her birthday. The girl movies, the romantic, maybe a romantic comedy, just maybe a romance movie. Um, Ever After and The Princess Bride. But I don't say their names just in case I'm not allowed to. So I described them instead. Described a certain scene. For Princess Bride, it was the part where the prince is asking the hero to surrender. And then for Ever After, with Drew Barrymore in it, um, it's set, it's described as, um, I saw the part where he says her name correctly and I just couldn't keep my eyes open anymore. Something like that. So, which is kind of funny because that's like 5 minutes from the end of the movie. Maybe 10. Yeah. Anyways, there's not very much movie left. But, yeah, I do that kind of thing. But the problem is that this one scene, it says the new detective movie. Well, I think specifically in that one, like that could have been Dick Tracy, that could have been Sherlock Holmes or Sherlock Holmes Game of Thrones or Game of Shadows. Sorry, Game of Shadows. Um, it it could have been the new James Bond movie. You never know, you know. But I think I said something shortly after that he's tied to the bed and he's got a pillow in a very interesting spot and the maid walks in. Yeah. Well, I don't think I said the maid walks in. I just think I said about the, um, tied her handcuffed to the bed and, oh, I don't think that part's come up yet, but I think it's in this book. If not, it's definitely in the next book. But I'm pretty sure it's in this one. Um, Test and Love. I'm working on Test and Love. I have to go through Lessons in Love and change it to a motorcycle instead of a horse because of the timing. It's very possible a horse could do what, um, it's very possible that a horse could do what they need the horse to do, but, running to town in enough time for her to trash the truck and the ninja to trash the truck, but then parts of it don't make sense anyway, because why would the ninja be riding Ashley's horse, you know? Yeah, I'm saying, like, if it isn't Ashley, why would the ninja be riding Ashley's horse to town? Um, it just doesn't make sense. So it makes more sense that, it could be a motorcycle, and, that she doesn't necessarily have to be driving the speed limit if she doesn't want to, and she could still get there on time, have enough time to trash the truck, and get home in enough time to, um, yeah, okay, so the ninja is supposed to get back in enough time for Sean to get out of the movie, discover that his truck's been messed up, and come home and accuse Ashley. Well, you know, if you don't know who the ninja is, then you might think it's Ashley. Anyway, but I have to go and do like a major rewrite, and then that means I have to do I have to do some of the chapters over again in my book, on the audio version, but that can be done any old time. But when I wrote it, I was trying to, when I wrote it originally, I was trying to keep it straight in my own head, and the only way to do that was to say who it really was. And yeah, so I wrote it a certain way, and it didn't work out because, like I said, now I gotta redo some of it because I decided it better be the motorcycle because I don't think the horse would get there in time. There was something about, I think there was something about it would take an hour, and Ashley's a really good actress, and the ninja's a really good actress, and Sean's a really good actor, but that's not the point here. But if you just got back on a horse, you may be having to run down the hall, and you may have to be running down the hall because he always goes to pick up the girl after dinner. That's another thing. He always goes to pick her up after dinner. So dinner's at 6. So that means he's leaving the house at 7. He's watching the movie at 8 o'clock. There's no way he's going to get home from the movies on time. I just realized that. Yeah, whatever. Anyway, and then 2-hour movie, and so it's possible, but I don't think it would be very probable. Especially if she's saying that she got all the way to that one part in the movie and couldn't keep her eyes open anymore, you know? I mean, I guess it's possible, but I don't think it's really probable that the horse could have gotten there in time and not died because, doing this multiple times, either multiple times during the week or, once a week. I just, I'm afraid for Angel's health and decided to replace him with the motorcycle. So that makes more sense because, you don't have to worry about the motorcycle dying on the way home, um, most of the time. And I was gonna have it be Morgan's motorcycle, and it can still be Morgan's motorcycle on the airplane, in the airport scenes, because I put in that Ashley didn't have her motorcycle because Ben ran it over. Ben has night blindness, and I don't know if this has anything to do with it or not, but he's got night blindness, and like going from the dark into the garage, you know, triggered him not being able to see very well at that time, and somehow her motorcycle was right there in the way. Or like he was trying to turn the corner at the far end of the garage and missed, something like that. All I know is that he has night blindness, and in one scene where he's driving, I want to say in Hard Times, or it might be in a book that's not even out yet, but I want to say Hard Times. Anyway, he's driving, and the problem is that he gets to the house that they're going to, and it's one of those big mansion houses, Anyway, he gets to the house that they're trying to go to, and he's been seeing a dark spot, off in the distance. And he parks like 2 inches away from that dark spot and goes, "Oh, that's what that was. It was a van." I've had problems like that too, so I try not to drive at night. My husband tries to not drive at night, which is why we're not going to the birthday party and then coming home. Well, it's part of the reason anyway. It's really a long drive. I mean, I think we could do it, but, if we had to, I think we could do it, but, yeah. If that ends up happening, then I'll end up connecting my phone to the I'll end up connecting my phone to the car, and we'll be listening to all of my music. I've got Kings and Queens by Ava Max, and Toxic by Britney Spears, and a whole bunch of music from the Bangles. What else do I got? Well, I got some Billy Joel stuff, but not all of what I wanted on there. Oh, Send Me an Angel from Teen Wolf 2. I mean, it happens to be in Teen Wolf 2, but I don't know the name of the band off the top of my head. Um, I think they were on the One Hit Wonder list. And I'm like, I don't understand that at all whatsoever. You know, I do like their feel from Send Me an Angel. Send Me an Angel. Um, I like it. So why couldn't they continue on? I don't know. I know that for some reason it was on the I watch a channel called Professor of Rock, and he had their sound for Send Me an Angel on. Uh, I I think that was one of the songs on his uh outdated sounds list or something like that. And I'm like, uh. Anyway, I don't have half as many songs as um I love on there, but it turns out that I love over 1,000 songs. So, I would have to put certain songs on there before I come driving home. We'd probably end up going through Tahoe because he wouldn't be awake. Anyway, so wow, it's almost 10:30 already. Wow. I don't mean to keep pointing out the time. It's just that I didn't think that it was gonna be like this. Where it's like almost 10:30 already. It seems like I just got on here. But I know that I've had enough time to take out a lot of this stuff. So, um, yeah, I want to finish. I want to finish the book. But I do need to do the laundry and I want to finish the chapter. And if I can get more of the chapter done, then that would be even better. I mean, if I can get the next chapter done or at least started, I'd be happy with that too. Like if I could get 10 pages done, that would be great, but I'm not expecting to do so. Like I'm a little bit worried because I would need to be able to be awake at I need to be awake enough to take him to his doctor's appointment, then go all the way over to my father-in-law's, pick him up, go all the way over to the appointment, make sure that I've got my glasses and all that stuff so I can read the next chapter, see what happens, and all that stuff. Um, so I think what I can do though is type in pass or Noah and get the spot that I need. So, anyway, I really want to go and take the parts of the book that, I want to go and take the parts of the book that I've already done and fix it to where it's not a horse, it's the motorcycle. And but with the motorcycle, I came up with one problem. Why wouldn't Sean know that she's got a motorcycle? Why wouldn't she have bragged to him, I got a new motorcycle? It just doesn't make sense. Or maybe she did, would have been off camera, but maybe she did, and that was a weird shape for a moment there. Don't do it. You got so much to live for. So if you take a black shape and a white shape, do you make a gray shape? We could find out, I think. Yeah, we can find out. Yay! Okay, where are the sheep? Where's the black one? Please tell me the black one didn't fall off into the ocean. I don't know. I don't know where he went. Maybe I shouldn't have been as focused on getting this done as, my experiment up there. I don't know. I just know that I'd probably want to wear a tank top to Grandma's birthday party because, watch. See? And then it had the hearts, and it made the baby. Isn't that cute? Here, the baby. No, just the baby. You guys don't need to get fat. Or overweight, whatever. Yeah, speaking of that, okay. I told you Christian Park Pass was going to, Disney California Adventure. And the thing is that he was going there to taste the Lunar New Year offerings. And this is like a month or two ago. So I think it's in February. Anyway, he went to do that, and he was describing this one dish, how it's made out of the, it's cooked with the fat. Those were like his exact words, cooked with the fat. And I'm like, that sounds gross. Because, you're not supposed to eat the fat. You're supposed to eat the good stuff. And I'm like, that just sounds nasty. I don't know if it's nasty, but it sounds nasty. And I'm like, I don't know if I like this. I felt bad for him because, he's one of those people that doesn't like to be a messy eater. And, he would probably do fork and knife for, certain things because it's easier that way. You don't get the goo on your hands. And I was thinking, he was having Mickey waffle things. And you get like two of them, and they both have this like apple bar goo in the middle, and he got that on his hand. So he needed to find a way to clean it off, but like he still had it on there after he cleaned it off, I think. Anyway, it was not good. Um and then later he had, like barbecue kind of food, and that got all over his fingers. He could barely hold his phone, or, well, he called it a camera. So, anyway, he could barely hold his camera. You know, it was not good. So, anyway, he went and washed him off best he could, but he said they still had some of the goo under his nails, and yeah, I was kind of like, it could have used a fork with that. And if you I don't know if you could do that or not, um but you might be able to like take plastic utensils into the park with you. Probably not, because I think that would still be thought of as a weapon. Um but you could take that with you in a Ziploc bag, so it's see-through. They can see what you're doing, and use that in case it's one of those things where they don't have plastic utensils for some reason. Or, like, I like using plastic utensils rather than the regular ones. The regular ones are just a little too heavy sometimes, or they make me think of, when we had COVID. I don't know why, but okay. So we were like never diagnosed actually with having COVID, but I'm pretty sure we had it. Um, I'm pretty sure we had it because everything tasted off. Tasted like it was dead and rolled around in dirt, is my best description of it. So, of course, your hot dog, whatever's in your hot dog, and I'm not going into details, don't worry. Um, whatever's in your hot dog is probably dead already. But, it like tasted dead. It tasted like you were like eating zombie hot dog stuff. But it wasn't just the hot dogs, it was hamburgers, everything we were eating. Chicken, you know, it just didn't seem to matter what we were eating. It just tasted dead and rolled around in dirt. So, yeah, I thought that was really weird that my brain came up with that combination. But, that's what it tasted like. And then all of a sudden I took my allergy medicine one day, and it's like, oh, this is getting better. So we did that for, like, we didn't take any kind of medicine for a week, I think it was, and then we took the allergy medicine, and both of us got all better. My husband will not tell you that both of us got all better because he doesn't think that we actually had it, or that that's not what made it all better or whatever, but that is what made it all better. Um and it's just the Kirkland brand Benadryl. Kirkland from Costco. So the pink pilled bottle. And I am not a doctor. I am not saying try that if you ever get COVID. I'm just saying that it might help. It could help. So anyway, I got a small problem. Well, actually, I got a big problem. I've got to go upstairs, and I've got a cat that's very much comfortable on my lap. that's a problem because he's going to squawk at me and he's not going to want to come back to my lap because I had to kick him off because I have to go upstairs, you know. Um, yeah, also I'm hungry. I don't want to eat on stream. I've been doing that way too much lately, and, it's not okay. Well, you know, depending on what food you're eating, it's not okay. Um, I eat toast and Cheetos, and those are loud foods, so I don't want to eat them on stream. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I'm getting to chapters that I know pretty well and can get done pretty easily, so I'm happy about that. And I think the whole passing notes thing is pretty much, Jesse passed the note and Noah got the note, and then, like, after class, it's, if I get in trouble with my dad, you're going to be in trouble. And this is the preacher's son, who is also studying to be a preacher, so, or a pastor, you know, depending on which one you call him. But anyway, he's studying to be one, and he doesn't want to get in trouble with his girlfriend, because if he gets in trouble with his girlfriend, then he's not going to get a kiss. And, she's just like not going to kiss him for a week. And he would totally go through withdrawals on that one. He loves his girlfriend, so he loves to kiss her, and she loves to get kisses, but she's also capable of being very stubborn. So, she's the daughter of Travis, one of the mechanics, not the head mechanic, but the Mitch is the head mechanic, and then there's Travis that also works on the engine on the ship, but kind of on protest, because that's Mitch's engine. He is the one that was working on it first, and he thinks of that as his baby, kind of thing. Like if you have a car, you want to be the only one working on it. If you know how to work on it. So anyway, so at one point Noah screws up and he gets put in the cage. The problem is that I figured out, after a while, that if I wanted my timeline to be the way that I wanted it, that I had to step up my pace and get some of these people married off. And that kind of screwed it up, but then on the other hand, it made it good, because, I've got, like, the next few years in the storyline figured out already. And I gotta get that done. I'm gonna go upstairs. It's only gonna take about 3 minutes, so. Yeah, but the problem is I'm gonna end up leaving you all up here with nothing to see. So I do apologize, but I've got. What? Okay. I'll be back. Sorry, baby. I have to go potty. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, it's like I can't wait to get to this one book because that book Raphael just has all sorts of things go wrong in his life. Um he wants to marry his girlfriend. His fiance actually. They celebrated um they celebrated that she said yes by kissing. And the problem is that she got pregnant. So they're gonna have a baby, which is great. That's fine, except for that. Um. Oh, actually, I think in that same book, or the one before it, one of those two, um, they come home for this. No, yeah, it's the book after. Um, it's the book after Summer Journey. Um, they come home and they find out the next morning that Raphael has a package. It's a basket with a baby in it. And there's a note from the baby's mama. I don't remember her name, but there's a note from the baby's mama that she's got cancer and she's sending her son to his father. So, okay, he's got a kid. That's something he can get used to. He gets used to it pretty quickly. And Leonardo, his son, he wakes up and he's cold. He's pretty much just got a diaper and a blanket on, I think. And so Raphael's girlfriend Pepper, remember that's the chef for the ship and at home. Um, anyway, she picks him up and goes, "You're a little cold, aren't you?" And then takes him upstairs to. I think that I think I still have him being taken upstairs so they can um, talk about that a little bit before they go to town to go shopping, or maybe I changed it to they're going to town to shop for him, and yeah. Um. Anyway, so there's that. Then, like I said, they celebrated kissing. I mean, they celebrated that she said yes by kissing, and she got pregnant, and so they're gonna have Samantha. Well, her dad doesn't like that. Not that not that having a grandkid is all that bad, just that, Raphael went and kissed his daughter without his permission. So Raphael comes, I mean, Matt, Pepper's dad, comes and they get into a big old fight, and uh, I'll let you find out if Raphael wins. But anyway, eventually, they do get married, and then they go on their honeymoon. And there's a big problem there too, because Raphael's driving down a certain road. They've got um a truck and a fifth wheel trailer kind of thing. I don't know why I made it that instead of just a motorhome, but that's what I made it. So anyway, they got like a truck and a fifth wheel trailer, or maybe it's a really a really good Jeep or something. I want to say it's a truck, and I want to say it's generally orange. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's generally orange. So it's generally from the Dukes of Hazzard, that color, red orange. And anyway, so they're driving down this one road, and it just happens to be the road that leads to a business that Raphael used to work at. And the guy is very angry at. Really? Hold on. Hello? They're using Elaine Wiles' phone number, or it might be Weil Elaine. Um, so I thought that could be a wrong number. It could be a wrong number. But since they were calling from a, like, 916 area code or whatever that said, 9 something. I highly doubt it. It's like, do people in area codes that start with 9 have nothing better to do? Because that's where most of these people are coming from. Like, I could totally see, some scammer having, like, okay, we're gonna work with area codes that start with 9 on Mondays, and we're gonna do area codes that start with 7 on Tuesdays, and have a whole system. I could totally see that. I thought this was going to disappear more faster. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so they get captured by um, Adriano. That's his name, Adriano. And Adriano's got a son named Raphael. Um, Adriano is angry at Raphael because when Raphael worked there, Raphael kissed Adriano's wife. And since Adriano can't make babies, it has to be Raphael's. There. So Adriano ends up selling Pepper, and he doesn't know it, but it's a fake transaction. Um, but anyway, he ends up selling Pepper to Shatana's. Remember, we don't talk about Shatana's on this stream, but we could talk about it on GTA. Um, I like coming up, um, I like being able to say that because then, like if we wanted to talk about it on GTA, we could, but we don't usually talk about it on GTA either. Anyway, so Raphael is still with the bad guy, and the guy from Shatana's, because I can't remember who I had pick him up. I mean, pick her up. Um. Anyway, the guy from Shatana's comes and picks Pepper up, and she's like, "What do you think you're doing?" Because they didn't let her in on the um, they didn't let her in on the plan. So she'd have a real reaction. You know. Um. Well, that was weird. They just disappeared. Usually he disappears, the llamas don't. Odd. Oh, it's 11. Anyway, so Raphael didn't get let didn't get let in on the plan either. So he's over there saying, because he knows what Shatana's is. Um, he says that I'll get you back whether I have to kill every guy in the place or not. You know. So dang it, I have to go on there long enough to. Okay, I have to go on Dreamlight Valley long enough to find the blue chest. And that's all I wanted to find. And it's driving me crazy because I don't want to do that, because I know that as soon as I do that, I'm going to want to pick up the barley and the asparagus. Yeah. Anyway, so like I said, Raphael's left there with the bad guy. And they end up selling him to enemy pirates who lose him to other enemy pirates who sell him to the Sicilian mafia. I hope there isn't a Sicilian mafia anymore, but if there is, I did not get that idea from y'all. I got that from um, the guy on not Married to the Mob, First Wives Club. That's what it is. The uncle on First Wives Club is um, Sicilian, and he just happened to be, a family man. And the first year that um, Bette Midler's character um, I don't remember what her name is, but anyway, Bette Midler's character's husband, uh, the first year that he owned his business, everything came off of one of their trucks. So, so it turns out that he's got like two sets of books, the legal one and I mean the one that makes it look like he's all nice and legal, and then the one where he's definitely got everything written down where it came from and all that because he probably had to pay them back at some point. Um, so it's that's where I got it from. I do not know that there's a Sicilian mob, and I do not know that the governor of New York is working for a New York mob, any of that stuff. I made it up. And if any of that stuff is for real, please don't tell me and please don't hold it against me. Um, but like I said, I'm hoping uh that everything is actually on the up and up and that I'm just writing a nice fictional story. Nothing's true and just writing a story. I like writing stories. And I don't really like the idea of having to worry whether I made something sound absolutely true or not, and I don't want to have to go to the witness protection program, and I don't know if the witness protection program lets you take your cats or not, so yeah. Your cats, your kids, I don't know, so I really wouldn't want to I really wouldn't want to go into the witness protection program. Um, Besides, I've been publishing my books with my name, and then all of a sudden I'd have to publish them with, a different name or just not publish. And yeah, I don't think I'd like that. And there's a movie called My Blue Heaven that was um, floating rumors that they pay you until you testify, and then you're just on, not you're just on your own, but, like as far as money goes, you're on your own. And, I don't think I like the idea of that. Um, but like I said, hopefully, there's not an actual Sicilian mafia and not a New York one either, and that they don't, pull the puppet strings on the governor of New York or anything like that. Hopefully, I just made that up off the top of my head, and it's all good. Although, if I don't know anything about this except for what John Snyder says on his podcasts. But he says that the I think it was the governor. It might have been the mayor actually. But anyway, somebody in charge of New York, he doesn't like because he's like saying one thing and doing another or something like that. Um, like one of the people that he's been talking about lately, it says he doesn't even like America and he wants to be the whatever of New York, you know? So it doesn't make any sense. Or I think that's what it was. Is that he didn't even like America, but he wants to be the um governor or the mayor of New York. And it's like, why? You know, it's like you don't care. So why? Anyway, I gotta end the stream. We'll get this down to that stone there and oh, unless there's more grass underneath, then we might go a little further down. Um, anyway, I'm having fun working on my stories. I do need to be able to afford an external hard drive so I can put books I've already worked on away. Um, or the music away. I think the books take up more room, but um, yeah, I'm almost sure that the books take up more room. But I haven't been listening to the music at all, so I mean, I do every once in a blue moon. I think all of the music that I had was on not an external hard drive. Um, but this external hard drive that I want to afford would end up being um would end up being plugged in like say on Mondays and yeah, I kind of forgot what I was talking about. I was trying to remember and then it was like Attack of the kitty fur. That's the problem with having cats, especially long furred cats. I mean, I know one lady who doesn't have to worry, because I don't think any of her cats had fur, or it's very little. But but I know of one person who doesn't really have to worry about that. But anyway, trying to get it done, and then I was like, oh, there's cat fur over there, there's cat fur over there, and you know it's all over my clothes. Um, yeah. So I gotta find an outfit that doesn't gather cat fur. That we can. I mean, that I can wear to the birthday party. Like I said, I'm thinking it's gonna be hotter in California than it is here. Yeah, we have to go all the way to another state just to go to this birthday party. Um, Grandma lives in California, and they're having the party at my parents' house. So I think it will be a good party. I hope. And I'm hoping my niece is still into Barbies because, like, if we can come up with some extra money, maybe we'll, get people birthday presents. The people that we haven't bought anything for. Like, I don't think we bought anything for my daughter for her birthday, which was in November, and we at least sent her a happy birthday gift. The little um meme kind of things on your phone. We sent the um animate animated pictures is actually more like what you would call it. Um anyway, we uh trying to get to where there's not any sheep. Back up. Back up. Don't you complain at me. I'm trying to save your life. Yeah, I was just trying to get it to where there can be no more sheep spawning over here. But I don't know if that's going to work or not. Ah, let's see what we get. Okay, give you wheat, give you wheat. And what do we get? Yep, a little gray baby. That's so cool. I want to um I want to get the pink sheep. But I don't know how you get the pink sheep because there's no red sheep. Uh there's white sheep, but there's no red sheep to breed them with. So I don't know how you get that, you know. Um Anyway, I've got to laundry and I'm a little worried because I know the truck will make it. I'm not worried about the truck in the least. I am worried about the reservation because I saw that it said 418 and if they give me trouble this time, I'm gonna be mad. My husband decided to set it up like through his work or something. They've got, a discount program thing. And where's your kid? Oh, okay. They got like a discount program thing and he did it that way, and so I'm a little bit worried because last time he did a reservation, they made it for the Monday before, and that's not okay because then we didn't have a place to stay, and we ended up having to, come up with more money that we didn't have. And yeah, it was just a disaster. Would you go and find your kid unless that's not your kid? Just trying to make it towards all stone over here because I don't think they can spawn from stone. I don't know. My my information on the subject may be out of date. So I say look it up on, a Minecraft something, like Minecraft Wiki or something like that. I don't like to go on wikis because Wikipedia corrupted my computer one time. Um, so I don't like to actually go on the wikis. But if you go on Dreamlight Valley Wiki, you can actually get a lot of good information about what they're doing and stuff. Well, yeah, you can still get over here. Okay. See, that's the problem. I came up with yet another project on here. You know, I'm always afraid that when I sneeze, my glasses are going to fly off. But I've got some really good frames. I love these frames. They're not quite the colors that I wanted them to be though. And they got like sparkly, not sparkly dews, but like, um, well, like this. You know how it's got the white pieces or gray pieces, whatever color that is, and you know it's got that on there. So it's a neat design. It's just that's not what I was expecting. I thought I picked up ones that were solid, but it's okay. It's fine. It's just not what I was expecting. So, yeah. Um, yeah, I want to. Okay, I need somebody to get me off of here. Talk me out of getting. I mean, talk me into getting off of here. Um, I'm trying. I'm hungry, so I'm assuming I'm gonna get off of here soon. Okay, so I write books. They are available on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and ebook. Come here, you two. And they are. Oh. I was gonna say something, and then I'm like, oh, wait, kids might be watching this. It wasn't anything too bad. It's just, Oh, I'm sorry, little guy. Here, I'll feed you anyway. And your mama. Just, you know, it's not like I'm going to run out. I am so not going to run out, but, um, come on. Trying to make this as barren land as possible so they don't want to live here. There's no grass they can't eat, and they stay. Uh, get out of here, little guy. Thank you. You know, I'm trying to make it as much barren land as possible, and they keep coming. Because I don't want to have to worry about them, you know, as soon as I turn off the Xbox, I don't want to have to worry about them landing in the, oh, I don't need that. Okay. Um, I don't want to have to worry about them going in the ocean. You know, I'm going to be like, oh no, did they go in the ocean while I was gone? And, you know, they're probably not even going to be there. But, you know, are they there? Are they not there because they went in the water, or are they not there because are they not there because they went in the water, or are they not there because they just despawned because, it's been that long since I've been on the game. Um, which isn't all that long. I just, like, I think I went on there, yeah, I went on there yesterday and the day before that and today, you know. So, so anyway, um, Pirate's Daughter, Hard Times, and Misfortune and Hard Times are $26 for the hardback. Esperanza's Party is 24 for the hardback. The Island is 25 for the hardback, and Lessons in Love is 27 for the hardback. And I don't understand my pricing at all. I know you're saying it's your pricing. Why don't you understand it? Because of the fact that why would three of them be $26 and then the next one be $24 and the next one be $25 and the next one be $27? That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm gonna have to go and try to figure out. Um, I'm gonna have to go and try to figure out how I came up with that. I will probably change it to all of them except for the $27 one being 26. I don't know why I came up with the 27 instead of 26. Usually I'm just trying to get $5 out of each book. Um, $5 that I can call my own. I usually just trying to get $5 out of it. But I don't know what I was thinking when I did it. Anyway, and then I also write children's books about my cats so far. If I get a dog, there'll be a dog um book, or if I got a bird or a fish, or I don't think you can write very good um story about a fish, but I could try. I don't know if we'd have fish because I've never had my own fish. Or if I did it, my sister had her own fish, but it kept jumping out of the, um, it kept jumping out of the bowl because we had one of those classic fish bowls. It kept jumping out of the bowl, and it turned out it was pregnant. So we ended up having to get like a second bowl, and um, we ended up having to get like a second bowl, and uh, so Mama was in the one bowl, and then all the babies were in the other bowl. And all of a sudden, Mama disappeared one day. We had no idea what happened. And when we went to go move from the one house to the other house, we found the fish. So yeah, it wasn't the best in the world, but yeah, my sister was only like, I don't know, I want to say she wasn't that old, like she was 7 or something like that. When we had those fish. She got it at the carnival, so it was probably a little crazy in the first place because it was that one where you throw the ping pong ball into the little cups, and if you get it in the cup, then you get the fish. And Yeah, so that fish was probably pretty, um, you know, pretty crazy at that point because it's, always being bombarded with those ping pong balls. Anyway, so for paperback, oh, Adopted Coral is not available in hardback, is what I started to say. And then in paperback, all of the books except for Adopted Coral are $20. And Adopted Coral is a wonderful bargain at $6 because I've noticed at the retail stores, the W store and the T store, um, the T store with the bullseye, just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Um, those the books typically start out at $10. So this is a wonderful bargain at $6. Um, anyway, it's only $6, like I said. And then we have the books available on ebook. Pirate's Daughter and Esperanza's Party are both $3.05 for the ebook. And I don't know if I was able to choose the prices or if they chose it for me or what. Um, Usually I get to choose my own prices, so I don't know why I wouldn't have chosen those. But anyway, so they're $3.05, and the others are $5, except for Adopted Coral, which is a wonderful bargain at $2.99. I don't know how much an ebook is going for nowadays, but it sounds like a bargain to me. Um, I keep saying stuff like that, and it's like I don't know. What am I talking about? um. Anyway, if you're watching me on Twitch right now, please follow and chat. And somebody came up with a new one. Instead of Stream Boo, they're trying to get me to go to highspark.ru and I get a free 25 viewers. Well, I'm not going there. If I can't get them on my own, I'm not getting them. Um, my viewers will come. I had 110, and I don't know how much that 110 actually watched me a lot, or if they just, you know, followed me at the time and then totally forgot about me. I don't know. But I had 110. And now I'm up to 43. So I think I'm doing pretty good. And if you're watching me on YouTube right now, please like, share, comment, subscribe, notification bell. Please get those public valid watch hours up and please buy my books. I definitely need the money. I'm so sorry to, you know, have to tell you that all the time, but seriously, we need the money and um and you get a wonderful book out of it. So or you get a wonderful present to give to somebody else. Like maybe it's a coworker's birthday, you don't know what to get them and you're like, "Hey, she's been talking about these books. Maybe if I get one of those, I'll make a new friend." Or it'll just satisfy the problem of I don't know what to get them, but I feel like I should get something because I know this person, they're a coworker. You know, I try to come up with a practical reason why you would want to buy a book if you don't want to read it. I am really good at coming up with I personally think I am really good at coming up with um stuff. I was going to say, well, I was going to say BS, but BS actually stands for something, and I don't want kids to get in trouble. So, like, I am pretty good at coming up with, I'm really good at coming up with what ifs, but then I'm also really good at coming up with, scenarios that you could go and buy this book for yourself. You could go and buy this book um, for your daughter because she needs to read something for that book report and you don't know what. Or, a son might enjoy it too. I've got a nephew whose favorite color was pink. I don't know if it still is anymore, but, his favorite color was pink. I'm pretty sure it still is. And he is not gay. I'm just saying. He just likes to color pink. And his mom, embraces that. His dad is like, what the HE double hockey sticks? But, um, he wanted him to have a favorite color blue or green or black or, whatever boys like nowadays. Red, maybe. But he likes pink. So, that's just the color that attracts him. So, anyway, I thought it was interesting. I thought it was a little weird too, but interesting. All the same. Okay, so it is now 11:33. Now, do I keep going and do I keep going and keep trying to save the sheep? Or do I stop? Because I still haven't eaten, still have not put in the laundry. I don't need it for. Oh, that scared the heck out of me. Think that's my answer. I need to quit. This may not be a popular opinion, and I don't know if it's easy to reprogram. But I was thinking if the baby sheep could. I was just thinking if the baby sheep could be a baby for a whole entire day, 24 hours after you made that, made the parents make the baby sheep, I think it would work really well. But then maybe the next day you're expecting there to be a baby sheep and you're like, where the heck's the baby sheep? I don't know if that would work. Sounds good though. Because people like the baby moms. They're so cute. They're little, you know. Um, the baby variants, whatever you want to call them. They like the little baby sheeps and the baby ducks. I mean chickens. Sorry. Um, the baby chickens and the baby cows and all that. And you know, it might make it better if because I wouldn't want them to be like Baby Herman on Who Framed Roger Rabbit, to where they're little all the time. Because I think he said he was 50 years old, but he's 50 years old, but he still looks like a baby. And I was wondering, I was wondering something yesterday, and or was I think my husband started out thinking of it, but um, or something like that. Maybe it was just all me. I don't know. Anyway, we were discussing whether or not uh, I mean, I was saying something about if we ever got Jessica Rabbit, would she be in her trench coat like she is at Disneyland, or would she be in her dress, without the trench coat? And I don't know. Or would they pretend that she was the Warner Brothers half of it? Because technically it was if I'm remembering correctly, it was part um part Disney and part um it was like Disney and Harvey and I think Warner Brothers, and yeah, because they're the ones that own Bugs Bunny, I think. Anyway, it had all those different characters in it. It's like they all got together and um made this thing, and I really liked that idea. And I hope I just saw something that wasn't there, because seeing a little baby in the water would be bad. It's funny because um I have the placing the bricks turned off on purpose because it gives me a headache if I don't. And then every once in a while it just does a snap crackle pop kind of noise. Rice Krispies kind of noise. When I'm trying to take out the stuff. When I'm trying to take out the bricks. Um, yeah, so that one, the one that I was telling you about with Raphael, he, like I said, he ends up at the Honey Ranch, which is just like Shatana's, just not as popular. And, um, so he's being held by those guys. Oh no, he got sent to Spain first. I forgot about that. He got sent to Spain first, and that's another enemy. And the enemy, uh, second in charge guy, is Diego. And the first night he says, "I need to go to the bathroom," and Diego is like not wanting to take him there, but he did anyway. And then he goes and he's put in this cage. So way back when I was in Spanish class in high school, and they were showing these houses, they've got the house around a backyard. Like instead of having the house and then the backyard, they had um they had the whole entire house around the backyard. So you wouldn't be able to get out of the backyard. I mean, unless you can climb like Spider-Man. You wouldn't be able to get out of the backyard without going through some part of the house. And in this case, you'd probably end up getting um found by the bad guy. Oh, I bet you that's the baby. Okay. Anyway, so Wait, so we took the gray sheep. Here. We took the gray sheep, put it together with the mama sheep again. Come on. Put it together with the mama sheep again, which means that they're, like, um, it's not okay. But anyway, um, and they made a lighter sheep. So I have, the dark gray sheep, that was made from the black sheep. And then I've got the baby sheep, which is a lighter tone gray. So weird. Anyway, so they end up selling him to Captain Gillespie. I think I named him, but I can't remember what his first name is. I can't remember his first name. Anyway, so Captain Gillespie was going to take him home. But that's when he had the problem of he got kidnapped by the Chinese pirates. I don't know if there's Chinese pirates, and if there isn't, I'm sorry. But he got I mean, like I'm sorry that I invented them if, there's not really Chinese pirates. But because I think that they would, like if they were going to be if there's going to be Chinese pirates, that their parents would say you're dishonoring me or something like that, and be kicked out of the family and or something. I don't know what they do if if you're being dishonoring, do they like kick you out of the family, or do they keep you but they like glare at you all the time, or what? I don't know. Um, I live in America. I've always lived in America, and I like know nothing that I can't find out on Google. Like I found out that you can drink when you're 18 in Ireland. And you can get your driver's license when you're 18 in Ireland. You cannot get your driver's license when you're 16 in Ireland. But with that one, I'm going with the American version because I don't know if you can get it when you're 16 in Ireland. I mean, in America anymore. But I mean, we used to be able to, so. That's not the mom. That was the dad. I don't know. Anyway, we gotta get this done. Fine, we'll end at noon today. That's the reason why I put 8 to noon though, because, sometimes I go over and I don't do it on purpose. It just ends up being like that because, there's something. What's up, baby? What's up, Sammy, baby? Hello. What? Your brother is up in the cat tree. Upstairs. Bobby's up in the cat tree downstairs. And if you really wanted to, you could sit in Mommy's lap for a little while until I'm done streaming. Yeah, because I gotta eat and I gotta do the laundry, and I know I don't need it until the 18th, but I might want some clothes in between now and then too. So, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pack one pair of shorts and hope that it's the one that stays on my um, rear end very well. I've got like one pair that does that. The others threaten to fall off. Um, Sometimes. But anyway, I want to like bring one pair of shorts and one pair of capris, and if I have one, a pair of pants, I guess. Um, I need to find my pair of capris that isn't too loose and isn't too tight. I was wearing one that yesterday that was too tight, so there. I think they will be safe. Wait a minute, no. That one won't be safe. Oh. Yeah. Get your tushy over there. If he can do that, how come... if he can go over the fence, how come... If the sheep can go over the fence because of the water... Get your little sheepy butt over there. Okay, I don't like being able to see the inside of the sheep. That is very creepy. Get over there. Hold on. Trying to save the sheep. And I don't think the sheep needs a swimming pool. There. Anyway, I don't think the sheep needs a swimming pool. So I got to watch part of an episode of Nash Bridges this morning, and it happened to be the one where one of the female cops um has a or had a baby, but she put it up for adoption because she was too young to care for it at the time, or she just didn't feel like she didn't feel like this was the time to have a baby, so she put it up for adoption so somebody else could enjoy having a baby. And she keeps she keeps doing something during the day that like makes her late for work or something like that, and it ends up that she's going to visit, and not going to visit but going to see her daughter. She doesn't want to like talk to the foster parents and see if she can have visitation rights or something like that. She just wants to know that her child is being taken care of. No, I was not about to cry. It's just Atlanta, Georgia be calling me? I think that's what that said. I've never been to Georgia. I've been to Arizona. And I was born in California. But I've never been to Georgia. Okay. If they get past this fence, that's on them to not die. I got a dumb question. Come here. Do llamas like? No, llamas don't like it. But they do. Okay, if they get past this fence and end up in the water, that's on them, not me. I tried my hardest. At least on this side. Okay. So, yeah, like, please buy my books, and, I think I'll go be responsible for at least a little bit today. Yeah, do my, do the eating thing and work on my story and, laundry and all that stuff. Oi. I'm gonna keep finding trees to destroy and land to take out and no secondary cow. I have a firstendary cow, but I have no secondary cow. Both of you like wheat, but you're not gonna make babies, right? Right. Okay. That'd be interesting. A sheep cow or a cow sheep. But I'm glad it doesn't. It can't happen that way. Okay, so I think. Oh, wait a minute. One more. Just in case. The mama sheep saying, "There is not a view over here. It is not pretty. We're moving that way, babe." Okay, I will see you in the next streamer video.